Welcome to Talk Ottumwa, a production of Greater Ottumwa Partners in Progress. On this podcast, we'll talk about the local businesses in Ottumwa to give you the backstory to their success. We'll also talk about the economic initiatives that are driving the progress of the community. And we'll talk about the issues that the community faces and much more. So stick around and let's talk Ottumwa. Hey everybody, welcome to Talk Ottumwa, and continuing on our series of the arts in Ottumwa, we have two really special guests with us that are going into a little bit of a different vein of what the arts have been, but that has still been a popular area, and that is movies. And with us today is Jason Bolinger and the incredible, insane Mike, which I'm told that's exactly what is written in crayon on his birth certificate.
That's right. It's not spelled right, but it's there.
And I'm sure it's all in capital letters too, right?
Of course.
So let's start off with this, guys. We don't typically hear when we're talking about the arts, people usually think about music. They usually think about physical art. They think about plays, things like that. They don't typically think of the movies. But why are the movies such an important part of the art culture here in Ottumwa?
Well, my take on it is everything you just said is what the movies are. If you are a musician, you have something to contribute to making films. If you are a set designer for plays, you have something that you could contribute to films. If you're a writer, you have something to contribute. Acting. It's probably the most collaborative art form that's out there, in my opinion.
Because it contains all of them, really.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have movies been a big part of the art culture in Ottumwa?
We have been making our films here in Ottumwa now for 24 years. Our production company is called Prescribed Films, and this is our 24th year of making films.
And I don't recall anybody else before us really doing anything. I don't know that even over these 24 years we've met anyone that necessarily made films around that time or before us. But there's been plenty since.
Yes.
Which is cool. I think we kind of helped get some people started. I know that for a fact we've had little kids come to our set to help that have gone on to film school that's now gone on to making their own feature films just from our little movies here in town.
So I think that might be a little side road to go down here for just a second, because Prescribed Films has really brought some regional and maybe national attention to Ottumwa in the way of arts. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah, I think so in some degree. Yeah. I mean, we've had several. I mean, we've brought in actors from that have been in major Hollywood films to be in our movies before and gotten some press out of that.
We've made a big budget movie that brought in some big names that were the incentive program for the state of Iowa had for a few years there. We were able to do some big stuff with that. And then we one of the best things about making movies is seeing your movie on the film screen. And as much as we love going to film festivals to see our films, we also love supporting other filmmakers. So we started our own film festival just to help other people get that same feeling we did when we first saw our first movie on the screen.
So, looking at the people that are attending those, how many people attend those film festivals traditionally?
In general or ours?
Yours, the ones that are here for Ottumwa.
Oh, yeah. When we get some of our regional filmmakers, we get pretty big crowds. But the festival in general, we get people coming from all over the country to attend ours, and it continues to grow every single year. When we first started out, it was pretty small, and we probably maybe saw 20, 30 people. But now we're getting like 200 to 300 people.
Last year's attendance was 650 people.
That's right.
Wow, and I'm assuming that not all of that was local, obviously.
No. I remember last year talking with a couple of the filmmakers that they were literally that week in the process of moving from New York City to California, and our festival was like right in the middle of their travels, so they took the weekend off in their travels to spend at Halloweenapalooza to see their film and hang out and see
That's
other
awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
And I know we've had filmmakers drive up from Austin and Chicago and Omaha, all around, all over the Midwest too.
So do you typically hear any comments from those folks about the culture in Ottumwa as it pertains to movies? Like, is it any sort of shock to them that, you know, Ottumwa would be a place that they would be going to see these festivals?
I can't really think of any specifics regarding that other than just at least with our event anyway, and expecting not as expecting as much as what they got out of our event. With the facility that we have it in, the number of people that show up, all the things we have going on during our event, they usually leave pretty impressed, going beyond their expectations of what they would think in a small Iowa town would have.
Okay.
And then just as filmmakers, since we started, we've always been that spunky little group from Ottumwa, you know, competing with the big Des Moines filmmakers and stuff. And we, just being a little smaller group, we can pump out more movies, we can be more involved and go to all the festivals and all the events. And no matter what, we were always just there annoying all the pretentious, awesome filmmakers.
When we started out, you know, we really didn't know much of what we were doing at that time. You know, just a bunch of kids with a lot of spunk and spirit,
Yep.
and a camera, and so, and also this was like when the internet was really growing, exploding. I mean, 24 years ago, right? And so we were throwing it out there. It's like because we didn't know anybody else in the state that was doing it. Iowa's only independent film company. We did it just to call ourselves out and see what, you know, throwing the bait into the pond to see what kind of nibbles we would get. And we got a lot, and we have really grown the entire state film community, gotten to know a lot of filmmakers from all over the state, even outside of the state, working on their projects, them coming, helping us with our projects. So really growing the whole Iowa film community.
So do you see any of the younger generation coming up behind you and taking on that passion?
Absolutely. Jason had mentioned earlier, you know, we had, you know, this kid who worked on a lot of our films in every capacity he could, and he was just trying to soak up as much as he could, kind of like what we were doing in the beginning. And now he's off shooting his own feature film out of state. I forget where he's living now. Colorado. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, we've seen it with other students throughout the years that either have continued to go on to shoot their own little films, or even having careers in other aspects of filmmaking, whether it be production for a television station or what have you.
And we continually go to film festivals and events, even if our films aren't in it. Like, we're even going to one this weekend. And every year, I swear, younger and younger kids get up on the stage to talk about their movies they made.
That's because you're getting older and older.
That's possibly true. I don't think it's true. I'll check the math. But, you know, with cell phones, you can make movies on your phones now, and it's just been more accessible every year, and the generation's definitely getting younger, and it's awesome because they're full of great ideas because they haven't been jaded yet, and they can think outside the box. It's always fun to see.
Okay.
Well, and with any art form, I'm just so excited to see people expressing it in whatever capacity. And with filmmaking being so much more accessible now, like Jason said, with using your camera or whatever on your phone, I just love seeing, especially the younger generation, doing something creative.
Yes.
I feel like what separates human beings from the rest of life forms on this planet is our urge to to have some kind of outlet. And being creative in some form of art is the purest, greatest way to express yourself.
So, looking at the people that are producing this art, they're getting younger and younger. Are you seeing that translate over to the audience as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, when a student films and stuff, those kids bring out every parent and friend from their class, and they always do. And even if it's just a small percent, some of their friends is going to catch the bug, or at least help that filmmaker on the next movie because they got to see their friends on the big screen. I think it only helps with that.
Oh, yeah.
So looking at what's coming up, you've built a pretty good base in the community with the Halloweenapalooza. What's next in the way of producing the movie culture here in Ottumwa?
Well, for one, we're still producing films. I'm actually in the middle of shooting a short right now, which is a unique project where it's going to be part of a feature that's an anthology of teaming up with some other filmmakers throughout the state to put one feature film together based on a set of short films in an anthology format. And we're always talking about our own festival and promoting ourselves when we go to other festivals, like the one we're going to go to this weekend. I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot about that there. What else?
Well, and the thing about Halloweenapalooza, as you can probably tell from its name, is that it's geared more towards horror movies and spooky movies and movies that are more fall, autumn, Halloween-inspired films. But the exciting news is that we here at GoPip are going to start a new film festival that's more broad. It's an international film festival, and it'll be at Bridgeview probably in late March. And really excited to, just as a filmmaker, like I said, all we've ever done is want to help each other and support each other. You can't it's hard to make a movie by yourself. You need a team and you need a group of friends. And so by putting on these festivals, creating a situation for filmmakers to network and become friends with each other, I'm so excited to be able to bring more film to Ottumwa.
What's also great about bringing more film to Ottumwa and just our community in general, there's, off the top of your head, how many film festivals in our state now?
Oh, there's over a dozen, at least 15, I think. It's quite a popular...
Which is huge for a state of our size. That's a huge number. And now Ottumwa is going to be hosting 2 of those a year.
Yeah, pretty exciting. And a lot of the festivals kind of have their own niches too. But I think having it being kind of wide open, all genre, all type of film, and being international, bringing some more culture from overseas. You love it when you see non-American films, just because the perspectives are so great, and the artistry is amazing, and again, so happy to bring more to Ottumwa.
One of the things that I have said probably in this series, but I think it's worth mentioning again, and it should be repeated as much as possible. One of the things that, when you look at arts from a economic development perspective, it is quality of life, quite honestly. And people are choosing where they live, not based on their jobs anymore, but they're basing their decision on where to live based on the quality of life amenities. And to your point earlier of the folks that are coming in here, it's definitely an economic development impact to the city of Ottumwa every time those folks come in. So having now 2 festivals here in Ottumwa is definitely an economic driver for the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of the more fun things to see, that these events, because every year at Halloweenapalooza, it becomes like a gathering place for your friends. People make it an event every weekend, and they I know this weekend's the film festival, and it's a chance to go hang out with your friends, meet new people of the things you like, and I love it for that.
Well, and it's, most events are one-day events, and you're saying, these events are weekend events.
Yep. We that too. People come and they get hotels for the weekend, and they don't happen all day every day. So there's always chance of going and exploring your town. We always hear from our friends, oh, you got to go try the canteen. You got to go here. You got friends recommending to friends where you got to check out when you can. Oh, there's a store over here.
We know a lot of people who attend Halloweenapalooza that Halloweenapalooza is not just the stop for them when they get here. Yes, they already have it planned out where they're going to eat because whether it be the cantina or whatever. It's like sometimes they sound more excited about doing that stuff than the film festival.
I'm always interested. I think that the persona of the canteen is bigger than any person that's ever lived in this community, because I've heard people from all over the world that I've talked to, and they know about the canteen. So it's interesting that you're saying that the people that are coming to this, that's what they're exploring.
Yeah, they put it on their checklist for the weekend. It's crazy.
So anybody listening, check out the canteen.
Yeah, obviously. Hashtag not sponsored.
If we accomplished anything in this podcast.
Right.
That's right. So what is it that people take away from a film festival, typically?
As a filmmaker, I feel like it's definitely very inspiring seeing all these other films. I know I've developed a lot of crazy ideas based on things I've seen at a film festival. Also, as a filmmaker, getting to interact with other filmmakers, that's huge. Networking in the art of filmmaking is very, very important. And, not just making good friends, but resources for your films or helping out with other people's films. What else?
I love that it really opens people's minds that this is a creative outlet, an art form that you can do. Like anyone can do this because
Well, you're going out on a limb thinking I can do it.
Well, I pointed to you because you're sitting here, but I know you've made videos on your phone. It's just, it's just planting a seed, but by being Hollywood films going to the Ottumwa 8, everyone loves it, it's great, but those are films made in a faraway land by people you'll never meet with budgets that are unattainable. You're removed. Mm-hmm. But a film festival, you're in the room with the person who made that film, and you can even talk to them after, and just seeing something up there that guy over there spent months crafting this thing that's now on the screen makes it like, I can do that? Just the way it opens the possibilities for people's minds. I love that part.
And then just plain simple, it's fun.
It's so fun.
It's a lot of fun going to film festivals, just being entertained by all these different creative ideas.
It's just because you love popcorn that much.
And depending on the theater, getting some really good popcorn, yes.
That makes sense. It's all about the popcorn.
That's right.
So, where do you see the future of the art form in Ottumwa in moving forward? Do you see a growth of new filmmakers? Do you see a growth of the audience? Do you see, how's that look in your eyes?
I only see growth, especially now that we're getting a second film festival. It can only get bigger and bigger. And even just earlier today, I was talking with somebody who lives in town who is now shooting his second film and possibly third film to hopefully submit to our film festival.
That's cool.
All because of what we've been doing, the seeds we've planted with Halloweenapalooza and our own projects. So I can only see it getting bigger and better, and I hope so.
What would your dream world of filming or the film scene be in Ottumwa? Thank you. That's a good word.
Oh my goodness.
Well, just having Produce Iowa was a thing once. It's changed a little bit recently, but they have a really great database of filmmakers, crew members, locations, things like some sort of database of like help. And that's a dream for me, is to
Yeah, that's a
localize
good point.
that a little more, have some sort of hub or some, sort of way to.
For Ottumwa to be a resource. And, you
Yes,
talk to a lot of filmmakers
yes.
throughout the state, they always think of Des Moines as being the resource. There's a lot of commercial production that goes on in Des
Yep.
Moines. There's a pretty big independent film scene going on in Des Moines. They have a couple festivals up there, and there's 48-hour film challenge and stuff like that. So yeah, for Ottumwa to be considered part of that, for outsiders to
That'd
be
be awesome.
like, Ottumwa is a resource I need to go to, whether it be having a really sweet studio to shoot in, or renting equipment, or whatever resources we can end up offering.
Locations, the
Yep.
bridge, yeah, everything. Yeah, it'd be so cool.
What do you want people to know?
What I would like people to know is, Ottumwa has a lot of opportunity for film as a community for art, maybe not just film, but just art in general. That we can bring in a lot more resources to build that as well, and for people to recognize that.
And I just want them to know that it's attainable as a creative outlet. Like, you can make movies, you can help be part of a film scene by going to these events, by understanding that film is more than what you see on Netflix. Going to a building and sitting in a seat surrounded by 100 other people, the film watching experience isn't dead, and you can help support that would be something I'd love everyone to remember.
And just as a reminder to everybody that might be listening to this, this is just one layer of a bigger picture in Ottumwa. And when you hear people say there's nothing to do in Ottumwa, or that there's no culture in Ottumwa, both of those things couldn't be further from the truth. In this series, you're going to hear about the plays, the live music, the facilities, the movies, the static arts. There's so much to do in the community, and we're blessed in this community because a lot of communities don't have what we have, and the movies, especially as these gentlemen said, having not one but 2 film festivals in our community, something that not even a lot of places in Iowa have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. That is a real quick. That is a pet peeve of mine when people are like, "There's nothing to do in this town." I'm like, where you live is what you make of it.
Heck yes.
And there's plenty to do in Ottumwa. You're just not looking. I mean, I lived in Pittsburgh for a short period of time, and I remember people complaining about, my peers at that age complaining about that. There's nothing to do in Pittsburgh. Are you kidding me? It's all what you make of where you're living, and there's plenty to do here.
Yeah, I had a
create your own.
conversation just yesterday with somebody, and the conversation was really, the people in Minneapolis say there's nothing to do, so they go to Chicago. The people in Des Moines say there's nothing to do, so they go to Minneapolis. The people in Ottumwa say there's nothing to do, so they go to Des Moines.
Yeah.
The people in Bloomfield say there's nothing to do, so they come to Ottumwa. It's all just part of the bigger picture, and that's the beauty of being a nation instead of just a small city. I lived in Tulsa for a while, and it was the same situation there. The folks down there said there was nothing to do, so they drove to Dallas. So it doesn't change. You're right. It's what you make of it, and I'm sure both of you can attest. Trying to plan an event in our community is a very difficult thing to do because you're always stepping on the toes of some other event that's going on in the community because there's just that much to do here. Yeah. So you're right, it is a little bit frustrating to hear that, but the glory in it at the same time is you're trying to produce an event where there's already so many things going on. Now, it doesn't help with ticket sales sometimes because you're trying to compete with all of that, but it is refreshing when you know that you are in a community that's vibrant and there are things going on, and the arts are a big piece of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, stick around for the next episode of Talk Ottumwa, where we will continue the conversations about art in Ottumwa. Greater Ottumwa Partners in Progress would like to thank the following Signature Circle investors who help us deliver on our mission to advance the prosperity of the Ottumwa region. Cargill Incorporated, Seafirst Credit Union, Elliott Oil Company, John Deere, McCune and Reed Insurance, Ottumwa Regional Health Center, the Ottumwa Legacy Foundation, South Ottumwa Savings Bank, City of Ottumwa, and the Wapello County Board of Supervisors. Please visit www.gopip.org to keep up on community events, podcasts, and everything Ottumwa.